there's a quote from Viktor Frankl that says, when a man can't find a deep sense of meaning, they distract themselves with pleasure. Right. And his point is, I think, that if your life is bereft of a higher purpose, you look at hedonism and short-term gratification and stuff like that. I think there's an inverse, and I think that you and maybe me as well are good examples of the inverse, that when a man can't find a deep sense of pleasure, they distract themselves with meaning. And that if your day-to-day experience of life, I don't know, just sort of joy and like play and ease and fun and lightness, if that's just not what you grew up being taught, or that's not sort of your psychological set point or disposition, or it just doesn't come as easily to you as it does maybe to other people, I think I see in a lot of the people that are like overachievers in the winning the Marshmallow Test of life, just permanently delaying gratification. I think I see that as quite a common archetype. That how easily do you just switch off, smoke weed, and play Xbox? It's like fucking impossibly. Like it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And how much sort of play and ease and grace and joy, how easily does sort of enjoyment and lightness come? It's like, sometimes things are kind of heavy and I apply pressure to myself, or even when it's not needed, and sometimes I struggle to give myself a break, and so on and so forth. So I think that, when a man can't find a deep sense of pleasure, they distract themselves with meaning. Instead of just having a fun Saturday morning with the kids, it's like we're taking a big rock and a couple of small rocks and we're going up that fucking hill again.
Yeah. It's when you were saying that, I was thinking about I don't know. It's I'm happiest when I'm suffering. So I've heard people say like, they said this mostly about Goggins. I don't know, you've talked to him too, but it's just like asking him, it's like, are you ever happy? It's just like, for him, he's happy when he's miserable. So it's like, well, whose definition of happy you're talking about? Is you're happy eating fucking donuts, watching TV? That sounds miserable to me. So it's like the people that get these words and they're like, are you happy? Are you enjoying yourself? Or do you ever have fun? It's like, running up that mountain is fun. That's what I like. So yeah, it's when you talk about pleasure and passion, I was trying to weigh that out there on what is happiness for people. And also another thing, I see you put up like 3 million subscribers. So it's like, is that, does that do anything for you? Is that, because you'll never let off. You're like, okay, I made it. I'm good. I got 3 million. That was my goal. But you put that up, like sometimes people will put up things like I made it. Like I'm here, but
I've arrived.
To you, that's just, what is that?
Just
a benchmark?
Just another little destination, I suppose.
What is the goal? Do you have a goal?
Not in terms of sort of money or follower count or anything like that. I think I did originally, even though I didn't have a number in mind. I think I wanted to become really proficient at something. I wanted to be able to say that I was like, I'd reached something close to mastery or competence. Like I was competent at this thing, and people respected that and recognized that, especially people that I respected and that I admired.
Is that a measurable that tells you that?
No.
So, because some people like I haven't looked at where your podcast is on the charts today.
Okay.
So I like measurables. Like I need to do this many miles, this fast, at this pace. I want, this many downloads to the pod. It's like, I love measurables. And I think my boys have kind of taken on that too.
I love that too. I think it's a good way to bring some control into a messy world. I have just tried to sort of put a bit of a speed limiter on how much I rely on it, because at least for me, it is not the most important metric. The most important metric is something that's pretty intangible, which is how much did I connect with the guest? How much did it impact the people that were listening? And a lot of the time, sometimes the episodes that do the most plays are the ones that are the most impactful. And they certainly reach the most people, right? But I don't know how, deeply that really changes people.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm at the stage now, at least with this particular art form, where I'm trying to really, really connect with the person I'm sitting opposite, and I'm really, really trying to understand why they are the way they are, or what it is that people should understand or learn about them. And none of that is going to appear on a YouTube analytics
Mm-hmm.
spreadsheet. It simply doesn't. And the measurement stuff is good, and it ensures that you're at least keeping an eye on one or a few things. I'm the sort of person I think that would become very obsessed by it.
Yeah.
And I need to be aware of that, and I need to account for that, because it's not all that matters. What would be something else? A lot of people trade intensity. In the very beginning, they use intensity, but the thing that keeps you going is your longevity,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's what we said, the consistency thing. And they trade longevity for intensity. And if you're just chasing the numbers,
Mm-hmm.
you're able to see the immediate effect of your work. This is the same with powerlifters, let's say. So you're a powerlifter in the gym, and you're pushing yourself RPE 9, RPE 9.5, RPE 10 over and over again. You're not periodizing. You're not taking weeks off. And you're going, dude, my numbers are going up. I'm fucking crushing it. I'm crushing it. Snap.
Yeah.
You go, okay, well, what was the goal? What was the goal? The goal was to get the numbers to go up, but the goal was to get the numbers to go up steadily over 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And all that you can see is such a short amount of time in front of you. And I think that you should be careful about trading longevity for intensity,
Mm-hmm.
because, and at least with the show, for me, the more fired up I am when I wake up on a morning, and I think this is just the best judgment of sort of where your life's at the moment and how much joy you're getting out of life. When you wake up, when your alarm goes off on a morning, how excited are you to get out of bed?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a pretty good rubric for how's life going right now. It's not going to be like that forever. It's going to be better and worse, and sometimes really worse, and sometimes really better. And if I wake up on a morning and I go, fuck yeah, like I get to speak to Cam today, like that's really exciting. Tomorrow I've got Will Storr, like Science of Storytelling, fucking awesome author. He did the
That'll be
Status
better.
Game. I'm fucking fired. I can't wait. And then, there was periods in the show where I wake up and I'm like, oh, who am I talking to today? Oh, yeah, that'll be all right.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the episode would be great. Maybe it would even be a really great performance. But if it didn't speak to me,
Mm-hmm.
so very much in that sort of, I don't know, post-growth thing, where I've already got, at least with regards to the show, so much further than I ever thought I was going to.
Yeah.
Fucking moved continents
Mm-hmm.
and came over to this new country and made all of these friends, and have lifted myself out of a area of the UK it was literally only famous for having the highest teen pregnancy rating in the UK, and then it lost that, so it didn't even have that anymore. I've already won. So trying to find ease, grace, joy, and just seeing how that works for me for a little bit, because I've very much applied the sort of Cam Haines-Goggins mindset for a while, and I can totally see me turning around in 6 months or 2 years or whatever and being like, all right, time to really fucking grip the bar again. I'm just seeing, okay, what happens if I try and have a little bit more play with this?
Mm-hmm.
And what happens if I go back in the other direction?
Yeah, I was curious about that, just because we're so inundated with these measurables every day, with the follower count, the likes, when you start getting into podcasts, then it is a downloads, because then that affects what you can ask for advertisers. And that's all they give a fuck about.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care about what type of connection you had with your guest. Mm-hmm. They're like, okay, cool. How many downloads was it? So it's like we get kind of roped into this trap of everything is measurable, and it's like you're not successful unless you're here.
Right.
And then when you're here, you better be here. So I was just kind of curious how you navigated that, just because it's life nowadays. It is, and it's easy. It's an easy, like, everybody loves, like, how do I compare? So it's an easy comparison. That's why you look at the lists on, like, whose podcast is highest rated, right? But I think Joe's done a really good job of this too. It's like, and I want to kind of adopt, well, your mindset is very similar now. That's why he can have on somebody like me, who, when I first went on there, nobody knew who I was, but Joe doesn't care. He's just like, am I interested in this person? most podcasts are like, let's go with the biggest guest that's going to give me the biggest.
I really think that you can look back on a body of work that was like disembodied, disconnected successes, or you can look back on something and be like, yeah, that was me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was really me. I put myself out there. And there's some people, let's say that you're in a sport, right? Let's say that you're a powerlifter or something like that. You want to be the best in the world.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be the best in the world. It's not about manifesting your fucking artistic expression on the lifting platform. Pick the fucking weight up, okay? You know what I mean?
Can you pick it up or not?
Can you pick it up or not? And the goal is to pick the fucking weight up.
Mm-hmm.
And however you get there is how you do it. Now, you may feel transcendent. You may feel like this is you really sort of actualizing your potential and doing it in the world. But my goal is to look back on this period of life and look back on, the library of work that I do and go, yeah, like that was really me.
Mm-hmm.
That was exactly where I was. I really tried to be open and honest with myself. It's a selfish project, and I think that the best ones are. And not everyone can do this. Not everyone can be selfish with what it is that they get to do for art. Because if you're a trader, please tell me about how your artistic fucking expression helped you lose money on that USD JPY trade.
Yeah.
No, you have a very, very tightly defined outcome.
Mm-hmm.
But in some other writing books and stuff like that, you could write a book that would sell tons and tons of copies, but you weren't connected to, and you get loads of success.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel after that? And for some people, they may take a ton of well-being and satisfaction and joy and all the rest of the stuff, meaning from it just being successful. They just wanted the success. And I get the sense that maybe the first few books or the first few projects or the first few businesses or the first few years of the podcast or whatever might be you playing that game. But then after a while you go, okay, well, kind of satiated my desire for status and maybe money or being recognized by all of these people. I had this, I made this joke with regards to the show that I kind of had the 5 Infinity Stones from Thanos' glove.
Yeah.
I had Sam Harris, Jordan Peterson, Alain de Botton from the School of Life, Naval Ravikant, and Joe Rogan as like the 5 people that I wanted. And I've got 4 of them. And Joe texted after the last episode and was like, don't forget we need to do an episode on modern wisdom.
Oh.
So I'm like, right, okay, well, once I do that, if all it was about
then you're done.
I've got gold medalist syndrome. Where do you go from that? And that's a genuine question. And that's still something.
That's true.
Every time that you complete a new goal, you have to ask yourself, okay, well, what is my life now that I've completed this thing that I was working toward for a long time? And that's the danger of goals, right? James Clear got this right in Atomic Habits where he said, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. So you just need to iterate and keep going, and it helps with longevity. But there is no growth without goals because you need a goal to give you a fucking direction to move in, or else you're just like growing outwardly but not moving toward a particular thing. It's not great for the way that motivation works, dopamine, positive reinforcement, all that stuff. So again, it's this tension, it's this balance between the two. But I get the sense, and it'll be interesting, in a year's time, couple of years' time when we chat and you're at episode 300, for me to go, okay, and what's driving you now? Like, how do you feel about the show? And I would guess that you're going to say, you know what it is? Like, actually, I'm kind of taking my eye off the ball with regards to the metrics a little bit. I'm really interested in having conversations with underground. I'm really platforming people that, no one knows about, or I've really enjoyed delving into this area of whatever. And, I think that is a realization that lots of people come to. I think they come to it maybe with even raising kids. That you think, I'm going to get the kid into the Harvard, the Ivy League university. I'm going to get them to be the captain of this team, or they're going to be the top in this particular pursuit or whatever. And then after a while you go, I just kind of want them to have fun. I just want them to be happy.
Yeah.
And I thought that I could get them there through that. But you kind of need to, it's far easier to achieve it than it is to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Because if you haven't achieved it, it's always in the back of your mind as, that might have been the answer.
Right.
So you need to do it to see that it isn't it. Like Naval says, the reason to win the game is to be rid of the game.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a tough one. It's like, you want to be successful. I think when you were kind of explaining that, the best feedback is when somebody says they really enjoyed whatever discussion you had, or, and they're not talking about how many people listen to it. it's just how it impacted them. And it's like, I'm not great at quote podcasting, which is why I do the lift, run, shoot with my guests because I can connect on that. And then that hopefully helps the conversation. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough sitting down and really, yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's not tough. Maybe it's just we don't do this. Maybe how often do you sit down and just talk to somebody? I never do it. Like, not like this. So maybe it's like, maybe you can learn a lot just by having a discussion, and maybe a podcast is an excuse that we wouldn't do this normally.
Yep.
Because I'm not going to be like, call up one of my buddies and say, hey, you want to go talk for a couple hours?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, nobody would say, sure.
It sounds like you're saying that you find sort of doing the podcast is one of the most difficult things
Definitely.
It is that you do. In other news, this episode is brought to you by Momentous. If your sleep's not dialed, taking ages to nod off, you're waking up at random times and feeling groggy in the morning, Momentous' sleep packs, how did I miss both of those? Are here to help. They're not your typical knock-you-out supplement overloaded with melatonin, just the most evidence-based ingredients at perfect doses to help you fall asleep more quickly, stay asleep throughout the night, and wake up feeling more rested and revitalized in the morning, which is why I take these things every single night and why I trust Momentous with my life, or at least with my sleep, because they make the highest quality supplements on the planet. What you read on the label is what's in the product and absolutely nothing else. And if you're still unsure, they've got a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you can buy it completely risk-free, use it, and if you do not like it for any reason, they will give you your money back. Plus, they ship internationally. Right now, you can get 35% off your first subscription and that 30-day money-back guarantee by going to the link in the description below or heading to livemomentous.com/modernwisdom using the code modernwisdom at checkout. That's livemomentous.com/modernwisdom and modernwisdom at checkout. Thank you very much for tuning in. Enjoyed that clip. The full episode is available right here.